When it comes to progressing with your photography and getting results that you're after and breaking through plateaus, one of the problems that can arise is inevitably you reach a point where you're looking at your images and you can't quite see exactly what needs to be improved. You know there's something wrong there, but you don't know how to address it and dissect exactly what's going on. So one of the common things I'll get with clients, they'll shoot an image and process it and they'll share it with me and they'll say, "Will, something's not right with this shot, what is it?" And they just don't have the ability yet to completely dissect the image. So what I want to give you in this video is a nice 4-step process, a way to view your images, to break them down and see exactly what it is that might need to be improved in order to take the image to the next level. So what I'm talking about here is what I call the 4 pillars of landscape photography. And this is my personal way of how I break down photographs and break them down into 4 key components that, in my opinion, are all as important as each other. And our goal as the photographer is to get each of these 4 to the highest standard that we can. So let's talk about it. The 4 pillars of landscape photography. It's your location, your composition, the light, and then your post-processing. And I kind of put those in a specific order as well. So let's talk about each one first and foremost. When I say location, pillar number 1, location, it's subject matter, okay? What is the photograph about at the end of the day? The goal really is to have some kind of subject matter, a location that is compelling, it's interesting, it's exciting, it moves us, it causes us as the photographer to stop and say, I want to try and capture this and share it with people. If you're out on location and you're looking at subject matter that's not really moving or inspiring you, you're not off to a good start when it comes to creating an image. You really need to put yourself in front of something that inherently stirs something inside of you. It makes you stop and be in awe, or it makes you ask questions, you're curious about it, or it just straight up floors you and you say, man, look at this. That's what we're after. If you don't have that, if you don't have that interesting subject matter, beautiful, intricate details in a scene, whatever it is, if there's nothing there at its core that's causing you, the artist, the creator, to be inspired, then how are we going to inspire the viewer? So you really need to begin with strong, solid subject matter. And it's a tricky one because I know that we don't always live in areas where you have that type of subject matter that does that. And that's where maybe you want to look at more intimate scenes, macro shots and things like that. But you've got to start off with the right subject. So number 1, location is everything. Pillar number 2, we've got the location. Is it good? Is that subject matter strong? If so, we move on to composition now. Pillar number 2. It doesn't matter how good that subject is. If the composition doesn't work, it's not going to make a great image. Composition is everything when it comes to the visual flow and aesthetics of the frame. You can even have some weak subject matter, but if the composition is intriguing and it works, then you're still going to have an image which is still okay. But if you start off with that good subject matter and then compose things correctly and effectively, now we're really on the path to making a great image. So sometimes an image just doesn't work purely based on composition. It could be the most epic scene, the best subject matter, but if the composition is off, if the balance is off, if it's failing to make the eye flow or lead the eye to that certain point, forget it. There was no point even having that good subject matter in the first place. We need to get our composition on point, and I cover composition a lot in many other videos on YouTube, and also the course which you can check out down below if you want to really go in depth on composition. So let's get a strong, solid comp that does justice to the subject and leads the eye in a way that we want to lead it to that subject matter. Once we've done that, what else do we need? Light. Light is everything in photography. Sometimes, unfortunately, an image just isn't great because the light wasn't great. You could have the good subject matter, a very strong composition. If the light doesn't meet you halfway, if you just have flat light or the light is just, not doing anything too intriguing, it's just an unfortunate part of photography. It's just the case. Sometimes the light is good, sometimes it's not. And we can definitely find ways to work with different light. But ultimately, A lot of scenes, a lot of images could be better if the light was better. So if you're starting off with flat light, no light, or let's say it's a sunrise or sunset scene and there's just no color and it's a bit overcast, yes, you could always move into more of a monochrome or some kind of moody image, but ultimately if you get that good light, it's then going to tie into your strong subject and your strong composition. So you need to really pay attention to the light, the way it interacts with the landscape, and try and be at that location or in front of that subject matter when the light is best. And it often mean, if you can, going back to a place on a few occasions in order to hopefully tie those first three together. But then the last one, pillar number 4, it's the post-processing. We could nail those first 3 pillars. Epic subject, composition is flawless, the light was amazing. When you get that raw file home, you can completely butcher all of that with a few clicks of the mouse. So the post-processing, in my opinion, just ties in directly with those first 3. We need to do some refined, tasteful processing to make the most of the data that we've collected and brought home, bring out those details and use the processing as a way to just complement that raw file, the moment that you beheld, and the emotion that you're trying to convey in your image. So if you're ever looking at your own photography and you're wondering, could this be better? Or I'm not happy, what is the reason why I'm not happy with it? Start to think about those 4 pillars. It's what I teach to all my students. It's something that I've ran webinars on. Maybe you've heard about me talk about it before. I think it's a real solid, fundamental way at breaking down visual art, breaking down photography, and if anything, it's just going to give you some direction when it comes to making those adjustments in your work, and try to be brutally honest with yourself. It could be any of those 4. Now, if you have 3 of the 4 really good, and then one of them's just let you down a little bit, let's say you got some great light, good subject, nailed the comp, but then your processing needs a little bit of work, you're still going to have a good image. Maybe your comp is great, the light was insane, processing was beautiful, the subject itself, not that intriguing, but because you got those other 3 so good, you're still going to have a good image. To make a great image, we need to get all 4 really high. And it's not easy, but it's a very fun challenge. And every photo that I've made, I can always look and say, one of those 4 could have been better for sure. But that's fine. It's just going to give you that nice framework now moving forward, and look at your work a little bit more objectively and look at other people's work, photographers you admire and people who make the images that you aspire to make. Use that as a bit of a benchmark when it comes to these 4 pillars, and I think it's really going to help you. So keep it in mind: location, composition, light, post-processing. I hope it helps. I want you to just have fun out there and get outside as much as you can. What a beautiful hobby and outlet that we all share. And it's my pleasure to just share this stuff with you. It means a lot. So if you have any questions, any comments, please leave them below. I'll get back to you. Thumbs up is always appreciated. I hope you enjoy the rest of the channel. See you next time.